Well, good afternoon. I'm delighted you've joined me now on my video chat for today. I hope you're all well. I hope everything is well. As we're coming near the end of October, I've always said this, and this is no secret to older people, B-Hubs. But, as you're getting older, the time seems to fly. Before you know it, it's going to be Christmas again. And then we'll be going into a new season, and then we'll be going back into summer again. But I always say as an older person, if people ask me about age, I always say, I made it. Some didn't. Be appreciative. We wake up in the morning, that's a good sign. Anyway, enough with all that nonsense. You're very welcome. Now, I'm going to tell you the story about, let's call it holiday snaps. We'll call it that, holiday snaps. I'm going to talk about holidays and things that can go wrong or right. Many years ago, while living in Dublin, Wendy and myself decided to go on a holiday to Tenerife. We'd always heard the weather was fantastic in Tenerife, and living in Dublin, the weather isn't that great. When it rains, it's soft rain, I know, but it's not that great. Anyway, we flew Aer Lingus from Dublin to Tenerife. Now, flying Aer Lingus means that you're flying with a whole Irish crowd normally aboard. It will be a full Irish crowd. Anyway, we get on the flight, and I must say, from the minute we're on that flight to Tenerife, the crack is 100%. 100%. We're having a great time. Now, I was sitting beside a guy called Louis Wine. Louis Wine. He's probably the most famous antique dealer in Ireland. I think I'm right in calling him that, an antique dealer. And he was sitting beside me. And in those days, we could have lunch when we were flying. You don't pay any extra for it, but you have lunch. You don't get, you have to pay for everything now, like now. And it normally is jelly chicken or, you remember it, of course you do. But Louis Wine's tray came out, and it came out with the herrings and all sorts of hors d'oeuvres, and it looked fantastic. And I said, Louis, what's that? Louis is Jewish like myself, and he'd ordered kosher food. And he called the hostess over and he said, don't forget, when Mr. and Mrs. Boland is going home, he wants to have kosher food. So she made a note of it, and that was that. Anyway, we get to Tenerife, and we must say that, honestly, there was a great crowd. And it's lucky, when you have a crowd that size, that they're good fun and they're nice people. One of them was a priest. Now, I can't remember his name, but he was a priest with the collar and all the gear on. But when he got to the hotel, he was automatically defrocked. Off came the collar, on came the shorts, and he was one of us. Anyway, we had some great times as a crowd. We're in the pool playing that game, like, is it volleyball over the net, and all sorts of things we were doing. And at night we were having dinner. We couldn't all fit at the same table, but the singing was 100% and the fun was 100%. We're young. We were young, enjoying ourselves. Anyway, the priest, let's call him Paddy. Father Patrick, that's more respectful. Father Patrick, he seemed to be the chairman. He seemed to come up with ideas, places to go and things to do. And he comes to us one day and he says to us, he's booked a nightclub for us all to go to for flamenco and Spanish evening. About 200 of us. So anyway, the coaches came and we all got aboard our different coaches and we got to the nightclub, and it was, with us 200 and another 100, it was a huge club. And the show was fantastic. But during the show, Father Patrick said, come on outside. Now, he liked to smoke a cigar. And he liked the odd glass of champagne, let me tell you. Nothing wrong with that. We went outside and we went for this little walk around. And I could hear this noise. I said, jeez, what's that? Oh, as we got around the corner, I swear to you, there was a bull ring. Maybe it wasn't a 40,000 seater or a 10,000, but it was a big bull ring. And I could hear the noise quite clearly. And he said, sure, there's only a little baby bulls in there. The little baby bulls. Oh, I said. Now, I was talking a lot about bullfighting when I got out to Tenerife. I had this idea. I loved the glamour. I didn't forget all the cruelty, but I loved the suit of lights. You'll see a photograph of me in a suit of lights, but not at this particular place. And I loved it. I loved all that. I love that. I'd only been to one bullfight, I think, in my life. But anyway, he said, will you get in with the bull? I said, did you say it was a baby? A baby. I said, of course I will. Anyway, the nightclub had all finished and everyone piled outside. We're all invited to the bull ring. All the lights go on, the Spanish music goes on, everything goes on. And I'm sitting there wondering, oh, well, baby bull. So anyway, I get the sort of the, if you want, the matador comes out, great applause, in the gear. In the gear. And he's looking around and he said, ladies and gentlemen, happen to be Jewish, I'd like to welcome you all to the El Schmucky Ducky Ducky Bull Ring. And tonight the star matador is El Dublin, Senor Maurice. Well, the crowd goes mad. And I had to come down. Wendy kept looking at me, couldn't stop laughing. I came down from the seats, because they're around the bull ring, go down the seats. And I stood behind one of those barriers. You see our photographs. And I'm thinking, baby bull, baby. And I'm there. And he's in the middle of the ring, the matador. The next minute, the music goes. And the doors open. And I swear, no, I didn't get that right. The matador called me out to the middle of the ring and handed me this big cape. And I did all this, you know, crowds clapping and roaring and doing what they're doing, clapping and roaring. So I'm waiting for the baby bull to come out. He disappears. I'm in the middle now with the cape, waiting. The door opens, and I swear to you, you'll see in the photograph, this bull is the size of a pony. Size of a pony. And it's running at me like it's the Midnight Express, whatever, the express train, running at speed, dust flying everywhere. And I didn't have the cape like this. Oh, no. I had it like covering my you-know-what. Well, that bull hit me at a speed you wouldn't believe. And he threw me into, he threw me into the air like a rag doll. And as I hit that floor, like bang, he got me again, and up I went again. He was throwing me around like a rag doll. And yes, he had horns, but they were little horns. Thank God, I'd be dead now. But I was smashing on the ground. There was blood now in my arms where I'd been hitting the gravel and what have you. He wouldn't leave me alone, the bull. The bullfighter was there with his cape trying to get the bull to get away from me, but I'm on the ground covering my head. And I look up and everyone's creasing up laughing, including my dear wife. Anyway, eventually it was so bad, this bull throwing me around, that they turned the lights down and the bullfighter had a friend, had a mate or an assistant to come in, and they start pulling the bull off me by the tail. Anyway, the bull was gone. I pulled myself off the ground, and all of a sudden I was brave again. The crowd went mad. The crowd went mad. And the next morning, they gave me, I think you'll see a photograph of that too, they gave me flowers by the swimming pool, showing my scars on my arms where I was injured. Anyway, I think it was that afternoon we all had to get ready to go. We packed the bags and we're going back to the coaches were there to take us all back to the plane. And I kept saying to Father Patrick, I'll get you back for that. Little bull, I'll give you little bull. I'll get you. He's laughing. He has a great sense of humour. Anyway, we're all getting ready to go and we're all walking out. You know, you get on the coaches. And coming along was Father Patrick. But he was now a priest again. He had all the white collar on, the black on, and the whole lot. And as he was walking past me, I couldn't help it. I pushed him into the pool. Now, that would have been okay to push him in the pool yesterday, because he was defrocked. He wasn't a priest, if you know what I mean. But Father Patrick, throwing him into the pool, now the crowd went against me. How could you do that to the father? He's a priest. He's the child of God, and you threw him in the pool. How could you do it to him? They all hated me. Yes, I was a hero this morning with the flowers, and now they're hating me. Father Patrick crawled out of the pool. Now, don't we were getting on the coaches. He had to go quickly to change. Anyway, we get back and we get to the plane. We get to the plane and we get aboard the plane and up we go. And then it's food time. I can't wait. Oh, jeez. I'm telling everyone, wait till you see what I'm getting for food. They're all getting you a little bit of chicken and, jellied cold chicken. The hostess came out, I swear to God it's true, with a tray, and the tray was covered in tin foil. Oh, gee, this is looking good. And she said, I'm terribly sorry, she said, but the ovens are broken, and therefore the kosher food couldn't be defrosted. And all we had on our plates, on our table, on our thing, was lumps of ice. Everything was solid ice. So I said, listen, I'm only a bit Jewish. Could I have some chicken? And she smiled, and we got our chicken eventually. But it was an extraordinary experience, and thank God we got some of the photographs that I'd be able to show it to you. The other one's just a quick holiday snap. Wendy and myself were in Israel, and we went to, we were very young again, we had no children, and we went to Eilat, and it was on the Red Sea, isn't it? Eilat. Beautiful there. There was nothing there at the time. I could have bought a villa there for €6,000. Now they're about 2 million. The place is full of everything. We stayed in a hotel called the Laram, just in case anyone knows it. And one day it was suggested, why don't we go to Rafi Nelson's beach? Rafi Nelson. So I said, let's go. But we had to take it with no money. We had to take the bus, which is about an hour, I think it was, from the hotel. Anyway, now at that stage, I don't know, I think Wendy must have been 21 or 22. And you remember that Wendy probably would have been categorized today as a supermodel. And there she is, and she was beyond stunning. And we got there, and we got to, it's like a turnstile. And Rafi Nelson was a right character. I think they did some cowboy filming on the beach there. And he had a cowboy hat on, I think, and he had shark's teeth necklace, and he had cowboy boots. He was an elder, he wasn't young. So he had one look at Wendy, and he sort of looked her up and down, and he said to her, you have to take your clothes off. Now, if you know Wendy, my Wendy, you know that's not something to say to her. I don't think she even modelled bikinis in her days because she refused to. And he said, you have to take your clothes off. And Wendy said to me, or said to him, could you get us a taxi? Jeez, we had no money. Could you get us a taxi? Anyway, he said, well, what's the problem? And she said, well, I've no intention of taking my clothes off. He never asked me to take my clothes off. Anyway, he said, come in. We went in, and there was some people. I think the nudity looks awful, especially on men. They're playing paddle tennis on the beach with their ding dong hanging out. It was ugly. But there was a very nice looking couple sitting there. They're just having coffee, and they saw that we were dressed, and they said, "Why did you come and join us?" He was an American guy, and he introduced himself. It was the world famous Leon Uris, who wrote Exodus. Turned into a movie. You remember with Paul Newman? He wrote Trinity. He wrote, what was it, Topaz, I think it was, that was Hitchcock produced it. And his wife, who's worked with him on Trinity, Jill Uris, Leon Uris. So we sat down and we had a chat with them, and we ate with them and everything. So at the end of the day, we had a lovely day. And he said, look, we're going into Eilat tonight for dinner. Why don't you join us? We're going to a very good restaurant. And we said, we'd love to. So we went back to the hotel, and have you ever had this in holiday? Jippy tummy. I felt terrible. I felt like I was going to get sick. Now, I'm not one of these guys to stick my hands down my throat to make myself sick. I tried to fight it and fight it and fight it. So Wendy said, do you want to cancel tonight? And I said, no, Leon, I said, no, I feel so sick. Anyway, we got a taxi into Eilat, and we went to meet him. And every minute I thought I was going to throw up. Every minute. We went into the restaurant, and he goes, hey, Dublin, we're over here. And we went over to him, and he was eating prawn pilpil, whatever you call it. And he stuck it right under my nose, and he said, smell the garlic in that. I said, excuse me, and I got into the toilet and I threw up. But that was it. I felt fine all night. Just that one throw up. It must have been something we ate on Rafi Nelson's beach. So that's sort of that is the little story at the to round up my bull story, full of bull. Anyway, I'm delighted you joined me in my little chat today, and I look forward to my next video chat with you. So have a great day, whatever you're doing, or evening, whatever you're doing, and I'll catch you very soon. Thanks for joining me today.